Hey everybody, how you doing? If you are new to our class this quarter or have switched from remote learning, I wanted to talk a little bit about the expectations for your book review. Otherwise, this could just be a good refresher if you're somebody that would just like a little bit of a refresher on it. What you are going to notice when you navigate into Google Classroom is you're going to see a whole section is dedicated strictly to book review resources. You will find an example there. You will find our rubric, you will find some organizers, and then you will also locate the place that you're going to begin typing your draft. Um, that being said, I want to talk a little bit about this review in a little bit more detail if you're somebody new. So, your book review draft is really, or your book review final product, are really going to be three paragraphs. Your first paragraph is really going to just be an introduction where you're going to provide a little hook for your reader, share the title, the genre, and the author, and then also let me and other readers know the reason that you selected it. Should be about 4 sentences about. Your second paragraph follows what we call the somebody wanted but so then strategy. You're sharing the summary of your book. It's going to be as long as you need it to really share that summary. You don't want to give away that complete ending. You do want to leave it a little bit on a cliffhanger for those friends that are reading it or peers that are reading it that maybe want to read the book but don't want to know the entire ending. So you want to just give them just a little bit of enough of a taste to kind of get them excited about the book. The final paragraph that you're going to write in your book review is a conclusion, and it's going to be about 5 sentences long, depending on what you're including or not including. And this is really just where you're sharing your overall opinion of the book, how you would rate the book out of 5 stars, and any evidence that you could find from the text that really supports that, and who you maybe would recommend this book to. You will see that there are organizers here to kind of help you get going. Now, they are not required. However, I do strongly recommend using them, especially if you're brand new to the class or if you're new to doing a book review with me this year. So what you'll notice when you click into it is if you follow these graphic organizer steps, my friends, you're going to be in really good shape. Most of this then will just easily transfer over into your book review. So you would start off with your book title, the author, the genre. So is this historical fiction or realistic fiction? And then some kind of a hook to grab your reader. Maybe it's going to be you can see that you can use a question. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a wizard? Or maybe it's a little description about your main character. Or maybe it's a cool quote from your book that you were able to find. Then you're going, and I kind of gave you an example here for you. Um, then you're going to go to your second paragraph, which is going to be where you're going to use the somebody wanted but so then strategy to provide a little bit of information about the main character, a little information about the conflict, what the problem was in the story, and a little bit of information about the character. Your final paragraph is really just going to be summarizing everything. You're going to include a rating, kind of your opinion, overall opinion of it, if you would recommend it to somebody, and why, reasons from the text. Was there a theme that you felt like this story really connected with you about? And then kind of that final takeaway for your reader. Um, I also have provided for you a rubric as well, so you can see how you will be graded, especially if this is your first time doing a book review. This really talks you through. It's going to go into Home Access Center a total of 4 times. You're going to be graded on introduction, summary, conclusion, and then the mechanics of your writing. So, are you using a creative hook? Are you really describing your characters? And are you providing a well supported opinion? Okay. So I wanted to give you a little bit of an overview so you could kind of see what some strong um, book reviews are and maybe some that are maybe not as strong, just so you can kind of get an idea of what is something that you might want to write and that's exemplary and something that maybe is a little bit weaker. So here, again, you want to hopefully know the what makes a book review strong and meets expectations. So here you're going to see somebody's book review. I think it's Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And take a second right now and just read that quick review. So the first thing you want to think about is, does it have 3 paragraphs? It does not. It's only 1 paragraph. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my book review organizer here and see if this person you feel like has met these components of it. So did they include a book title? There is not a book title there. Did this person include the author or tell us that it was a humor story? Again, that is not included here. Did this author provide some kind of a hook with some kind of a cool quote from the book or some kind of a funny line from the book? And again, we don't even really know what this book is. So that really doesn't meet that component as well. Um, Things that they said, like some ideas the book I read was, the genre was, the reason I selected this book. As a matter of fact, this whole first example is missing that first paragraph. Then we want to look, did they provide a summary talking about the main character, the conflict, and kind of not giving away the ending and making us feel a little curious. So I kind of have a general idea of what the problem is. It looks like Greg's grandpa had to move in, but it's a little fuzzy from there. I'd like a little bit more details about Greg, maybe a little bit more description about that main character. And then let's take a look at this final conclusion. Did they rate the book, kind of summarize for the reader, like what they felt their book was about, kind of provide an opinion, maybe it was a great book or not a great book, and maybe some pieces of evidence from that. And again, you can see that there's really no concluding paragraph here at all. So really, I think we would rate this as a weak example. If I were scoring this, if this was a book review that I was scoring and I opened up my book review rubric, does it have an introduction? No, it does not. There's no hook and it's missing the components. Do we have a character name? We do. Do I have a little bit of information about the character? Maybe a little bit. Does it tell me a lot about the character and his relationship with grandpa? Not particularly. So I think I would kind of fall into these categories. And do you feel that it provides an overall opinion, or is the third paragraph completely lacking? And as a matter of fact, the third paragraph is completely lacking. So I would have to score it here. So really this is a basic or kind of a weaker example of a book review. Let's take a look at this one. This is all about Matilda. And you can see it's definitely much better. We've got my first paragraph here. Okay, Matilda is the title of a fantasy and realistic fiction book written by Roald Dahl. And then we have a little bit of information here. Okay, and then this person goes on to talk all about Matilda and about the book. And then finally, we have a concluding paragraph. It's one of my favorite books because the main character, Matilda, is a smart little girl who loves reading and hot chocolate like I do. I rate this book a 4 out of 5 because it has a great description and talked a lot about how the characters felt. All in all, I would recommend this book to anyone who likes fantasy. So definitely much stronger. A hook is present. Um, it looks like there's a general opinion. She or he did provide, kind of some specific details and some weaker details. So I think I would kind of put this person kind of ranging between these two. Finally, you will see what I would consider to be an exemplary piece of writing. This comes up with a little information about Caitlin, a 7th grader from Hatfield, Pennsylvania. And then you can see that their summary is really full of good information. It's actually a long book. If you haven't read this, it's a pretty lengthy book. So you would need enough to really describe the summary. And then this person's conclusion is, I thought this book was amazing. I could relate to Caitlin in some ways and to Martin in other ways. I rate this book 5 out of 5 stars. I gave this rating because I love the way the authors described how hard Martin's life was. So again, giving a lot more detail in there. So as you look at this, I would call this it's a clear conclusion. It's got great information in the summary. They've included the title, author, or genre. So I think this is a really strong piece of writing, and I would probably rate or score this one really in the exemplary category, to be honest, because I feel like that's a really strong piece of writing. Remember, one thing that you want to do is that you don't want to add your own opinion to your summary. That's not the place to put your opinion. If you want to include an opinion, that needs to go in the conclusion, okay? So really, I hope this is helpful for you. I'm going to link this strong and weak examples as well for you in the book review resources section, as well as this video for you. You can also see another example that I've linked as well. Um, so I think as long as you're following these components, you should be pretty good, remembering that it's a 3 paragraph response, that you're including a hook, title, genre, and author, that you've created a nice lengthy summary that's minimum of 5 sentences long, but really it should be longer than that depending on the type of book you have, and that you've rated your book and provided a little bit of your own personal reasoning. Again, your summary should not include your personal opinion. That should really come in your concluding section, okay? Hopefully this helps clarify book reviews for you, and these will be due according to the agenda and the dates that you will be putting in your agendas and your planners, okay? Have a good day, everybody.